Star Wars Galaxies closed down on December 15th of 2011. In the immortal words of John Smedley, who helmed SOE at the time, the shutdown of SWG is a very difficult decision. But SOE and LucasArts have mutually agreed that the end of 2011 is the appropriate time to end the game. Of course, that was also because Star Wars: The Republic was about to come out. But as Raf Koster more eloquently put it on his website about the end of SWG, well, in the end, SWG may have been more potential and promise than fulfilled expectation. But I'd rather work on something with great potential than on fulfilling a promise of mediocrity. There's a reason people are passionate about it all these years later. I'm proud to have worked on it. The irony of these two statements is that a team of volunteers may be building on Raf Koster's dream of fulfilling that potential, as they have picked up where the torch dropped with SWG and carried on. Because you see, you didn't read the title wrong. It is 2024, and Star Wars Galaxies is getting new playable species. The beloved MMO that was shuttered to make way for Star Wars: The Republic all the way back in 2011 has lived on with some extremely passionate emulator servers. Emulator servers that don't simply maintain the game, but are actively expanding it. Whether it's adding entirely new areas or making modifications to how the gameplay systems work. But what about the new playable species? One such emulator server, SWG Restoration, is pushing the boundaries of what at least I thought possible with these emulator servers. I've been amazed by some of these in the past, like SWG Legends, another SWG emulator server which created Bespin, or to Warhammer Return of Reckoning, creating a system to get you into the PvP and PvE action, or Ultima Online Outlands, another Raf Koster game, and their completely custom server. But this is definitely up there, and that's why I wanted to highlight this update for you all. SWG Restoration is a custom mix of pre-CU and NGE gameplay, a kind of mix of both worlds, but they keep adding more to the game, like this huge update called Expanding Horizons, which dropped on the 13th death anniversary of Star Wars Galaxies, December 15th, 2024. With this update, the headline is absolutely that they'll be adding, straight from Star Wars lore, 5 more playable species, expanding well beyond the playable species Star Wars Galaxies used to have. They'll be adding the Nautolan, the Chiss, the Deveronian, the Miralin, and the Bith. Not only that, but you'll be able to visit an image designer in-game to change to one of these new playable species if you so choose. But that's not all. They've also updated the game with 4K textures to spruce it up a little bit, and in some places, as seen in the trailer, it's actually pretty noticeable, like on the armor. They've also revamped some skill trees, moved to a rebuilt Windows 64 client, added a jewelry slot for earrings, heroic challenges with rewards that are, as they say, perfect for endgame adventurers seeking the ultimate prize, which interestingly enough was actually one of the issues that Star Wars Galaxies had when it was live. It really did it fell flat in the end game. It had a great social scene. It was very good in crafting and all these different aspects that it would go about, like creating like cities and everything. But it really fell flat at the end because there wasn't much to do. There wasn't a whole lot. There was like the whole idea of end game wasn't really all that fully fleshed out when SWG was around. It was kind of missing. You didn't have people lining up for raids like, say, in an EverQuest, for example. But believe it or not, they still aren't done with this update, as they also added in vehicle customization, allowing you to loot parts and throw them into your vehicle to tinker with it and create a custom vehicle with different focuses like top speed, boost your speed, hit points, boost your duration, acceleration, etc. They've also pulled together the skills of the Combat Update Sniper, the Pre-Combat Update Ranger, and the NGE Spy into a new profession, the Ranger. And I think that's showing all those little parts of the game like coming together, different updates of the game coming together into this new profession. I think that kind of shows exactly what kind of server SWG Restoration is. Trying to pull the best from everything, all of what it was, trying to take the game as it was in 2011 and make it better, the progression of the game from there. If you've played Star Wars Galaxies before and you want to jump back in to see the legacy of this team of volunteers that have been working on through several iterations of the server, creating a beloved server that's still raising eyebrows 15 years after official support of the game ended, I've linked their website down below. No CD key needed to play this emulator. The UI may be a bit dated, and quite honestly, it's one of the harder things for me when trying to jump back into this game. It is rough. And even with the texture updates, the game does show its age. But SWG was a special moment in mmorpg history. It's a game that hasn't quite been replicated since, and one that sparked some incredible memories for me, from my Fencer Terraskasi build fighting Rancors and Dathomir Witches, to learning how to play various instruments and play in a band on Naboo, or even getting murdered in PvP by a bunch of Imperial Stormtroopers and their tamed pets that I had no way to counter. I can't recommend SWG enough, whether you have played it before or whether you have never played it. It was just that special of an MMORPG, and I was very sad to see it end. But I'm so happy to see that it's been carried on, not just by SWG Restoration, even though that is the focus of this video, but by the SWG emulator, by SWG Legends. There's a lot of different emulators out there that are really, really special to this game, and they're carrying on the legacy of an MMORPG that was in a lot of ways extremely innovative back in 2003 when it launched, and continued to be innovative and still hasn't really been replicated since. If you decide to play, good luck, and who knows, maybe you can tame some powerful beasts or even fight a crate dragon with your droids. SWG is one of those games where the possibilities are vast and your time will be well spent. Cheers to the tenacious team keeping the dream of SWG alive long after it was shuttered.